This is the future rave sound. I'm getting lost in an underground. This is the future rave sound. I'm getting lost in an underground.
You're sampling the DNA of someone's voice and using it however you please.
Usually in music, you pay someone like a lot of money to feature on your track. Someone like Eminem. Now you can just deep fake it.